for clicking this channel. Again, my name is Emma, and Happy New Year to everybody. On this video, I'm actually going to be reading 2 pages of the books that I chose for this month. If you want to see the video of where I choose which videos I do for my little, I have a little cup where I take it out of, a little mug, there's the word. I have a little mug that I take those 2 books out. If you want to click up there, down here, wherever I decided to put it, go ahead and click on that link and you will be able to watch that. So let's get into it. And the first one, I want to do a disclaimer first. Some of these books might have some swearing in it. To keep this family friendly so everybody feels comfortable on this channel, I will be omitting the swear words and replacing them with something else. So if I sound a little awkward while I'm reading, it's probably because I'm trying to think of a different word. But the first one I'm going to be reading is On the Come Up by, I believe, it's Angie Thomas. And so I'm going to be reading the first 2 pages of that one. And then after I'm done with that, I'm going to be reading the Collected Schizophrenias by Esme Wang. Her name is a little bit difficult for me. I'm going to go ahead and read 2 pages from that one. So let me go ahead and go into it. I'm going to be using my fancy little Kindle. I really like it. I think it's very fancy. And I think it's very cute. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that one. And I'm going to go ahead and read that. So just give me a moment. Well, I'm sorry for the little pause. I had to get that downloaded and get that going. So here is the first chapter. I do want to let you know that the first sentence might seem a bit alarming. When she says she's going to kill somebody, it means that she's going to beat them at a rap battle. Just so you know. All right, so let's get going. I might have to kill somebody tonight. It could be somebody I know. It could be a stranger. It could be somebody who's never battled before. It could be somebody who's a pro at it. It doesn't matter how many punchlines they spit or how nice their flow is. I'll have to kill them. First, I gotta get the call. To get the call, I gotta get the heck out of Mrs. Murray's cast. Some multiple choice questions take up most of my laptop, but the clock, though. The clock is everything. According to it, there are 10 minutes until 4:30. And according to Aunt Boo, who knows somebody, DJ Hype calls between 4:30 and 5:30. I swear, if I miss him, I won't do crap because Miss Murray has my phone and Mrs. Murray not one to play with. I only see the top of her sister locks. The rest of her is hidden behind her Nikki Genovese book. Occasionally, she goes, at some line the same way that my grandma does during a sermon. Poetry, Mrs. Murray's religion. Everyone else cleared out of Middletown School of the Arts almost an hour ago, except for us juniors, whose parents or guardians signed us up for ACT prep. It's not guaranteed to get you a 36, but Jay and said I better get close since she paid these folks a light bill for this class. Every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon, I drag myself into the classroom and hand my phone over to Mrs. Murray. Usually, I'm cool with an entire hour of not knowing what the president tweeted or getting texts from Sony or Malik, sometimes about the crap the president tweeted. But today, I want to go up to that desk, snatch my phone from that pile, and run out of here. Psst, Brianna, someone whispers. Malik's behind me, and behind him, Sony mouths, anything yet? I tilt my head with a, how am I supposed to know? I don't have my phone, I about raise. Yeah, that's a lot to expect him to get. But me, Sony, and Malik have been tight since the womb days. Our moms are best friends, and the 3 of them were pregnant with us at the same time. They call us the Unholy Trinity because they claim we kicked in their bellies whenever they were together. So nonverbal communication, not new. Sony shrugs with an, I don't know, I'm just checking, mixed with, darn, you ain't gonna catch an attitude? I narrow my eyes at his little light-skinned hobbit looking behind. He's got the curly hair and the big ears. I don't have an attitude. You just ask dumb questions. I turn around Mrs. Murray's eyes as us over from the top of her book with a little nonverbal communication of her own. I know you're all not talking my class. Technically, we're not talking. But what I look like telling her that, verbally or non-verbally. 4:27. 3 minutes and that phone will be in my hand. 4:28. 2 minutes. 4:29. 1. All right, guys, that is the first chapter of that book. Not first chapter, I beg your pardon, the first 2 pages of that book. So let me know if you like that and if that's inspired you to actually read that book this month. And let me go ahead and get to that other one. So I got that pulled up. Thank you again for waiting. And this first chapter is actually called Diagnosis. And so I'm just going to have, again, the first 2 pages. So here we go. Schizophrenia terrifies. It is the archetypal disorder of lunacy. Craziness scares us because we are creatures who long for structure and sense. We divide the interminable days into years, months, and weeks. We hope for ways to quarrel and control bad fortune, illness, unhappiness, discomfort, and death, all inevitable outcomes that we pretend are nothing but. And still, the fight against entropy seems widely futile in the face of schizophrenia, which shirks reality in favor of its own internal logic. People speak of schizophrenics as though they are dead without being dead, gone in the eyes of those around them. Schizophrenics are victims of the Russian word gibel, which is synonymous with doom and catastrophe, but not necessarily death or suicide, but a ruinous sensation of existence. We deteriorate in a way that is painful for others. Psychoanalyst Christopher Bollas defines schizophrenic presence as the psychodynamic experience of being with a schizophrenic who has seemingly crossed over from the human world to the non-human environment, because other human catastrophes can bear the weight of human narrative, war, kidnapping, death, but schizophrenia's built-in chaos resists sense. Both Gibel and schizophrenic presence address the suffering of those who are adjacent to the one who is suffering in the first place. Because the schizophrenic does suffer, I have been psychologically lost in the pitch-dark room. There is the ground, which may be nowhere other than immediately below my numb feet. Those foot-shaped anchors are the only trustworthy landmarks. If I make a wrong move, I'll have to face the gruesome consequences. In this bleak abyss, the key to not be afraid, because fear, though inevitable, only compounds the awful feeling of being lost. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, NIMH, schizophrenia afflicts 1.1% of the American adult population. The number grows when considering the full psychotic spectrum, also known as the schizophrenias. 0.3% of the American population are diagnosed as schizoaffective disorder. 3.9% are diagnosed with schizotypical personality disorder. I am aware of the implications of the word afflicts, which supports a neurotypical bias, but I also believe in the suffering of people diagnosed with the schizophrenias and our tormenting minds. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening to all that. I hope those little brief sneak peeks of those 2 books inspire you to read them. Put a comment down below if either of those 2 books sound interesting to you, and if you find both of them interesting, and if you'd like to read them. Thank you again for clicking on this video. Feel free to subscribe and like this channel if you enjoyed this today, and thank you again for clicking this channel. And just remember once again that knowledge is power, and you get knowledge through books. Thank you for watching.